On the custody fight now between Charlie Sheen and his estranged wife, NBC's Jeff Rawson is out in Los Angeles again with new details on this. Jeff, good morning to you.
Hi, Matt. Good morning to you. The restraining order against Charlie Sheen, it's about 78 pages, has some biting accusations by his estranged wife, Brooke Mueller. She says Charlie has gone insane, threatening her life and punching her, and all of this is just in the past 2 weeks. It was enough for a judge to strip their children away from their dad. Charlie Sheen, self-described winner, losing the two boys he loves. In this home video shot by a Sheen friend, Charlie hands over his twin sons, Max and Bob, to police. The boys still in their pajamas.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go.
As officers arrived in the darkness of night, the children were taken from Sheen's home under court order, an emergency complaint filed by Charlie's estranged wife, Brooke Mueller.
Goodbye.
I love you, little man. I will see you very soon. Trust me. Your dad don't lie. I will see you very soon. I love you.
Good.
Just hours later,
at this moment on live television, I do not know where my children are, but I'm not.
Charlie Sheen reacted in an exclusive live interview here on Today.
Brooke, I'm sorry that you felt this had to be done in this way, but this does not display any responsible parenting. And I urge you to reach out to me and immediately, if not sooner, and tell me where our sons are.
Brooke Mueller, who just days ago jetted with Sheen and his goddesses to the Bahamas, filed court papers saying in the last 2 weeks, Sheen threatened to stab my eye with a pen knife and spit on my feet. He also punched me in the arm. On Christmas Day 2009, police report Sheen held a knife to her throat, eventually pleading guilty to misdemeanor assault. Sheen denies all of it. Brooke went to court yesterday and told the judge that you had threatened her, and she says you told her, I will cut your head off, put it in a box, and send it to your mom.
It's colorful.
Did you say that?
No, I did not, but that's a good one, I guess.
But Brooke says she's worried about erratic statements from Charlie. I believe his rage is the result of an intense mental issue rather than simply a reaction to substance abuse.
Are you going to share that apple with your brother?
Right now, the kids have been removed from Sheen's home, and they're with Brooke, but she has troubles of her own, admitting in court papers, I have struggled with my own sobriety issues. He mocks my recovery efforts. Still, she says the kids are better off in her house than Charlie's.
Our life is awesome.
Where he's living with a former porn star and a model.
Do you love his kids? I mean, do you love...
Are you kidding? I was just up there with him right now.
A lot of people watched that video when we were in the house with your two girlfriends, the goddesses.
Yes.
And said to themselves, you know what, maybe two young boys shouldn't be raised in this kind of environment, with women who they're just meeting. How do you respond to that there?
I invite anybody at this point to come in and just observe. If it's a court-appointed monitor, if it's somebody from her legal team, if it's her, if it's you with a camera, there's nothing to hide. And as I said, there's nothing but love and compassion and absolute support for these amazing children.
Sheen promises to fight for his children in court.
I think that the court is going to be concerned about both parents. And I think that the court very well might order on its own some type of custody evaluation, because it doesn't seem to me, given that both sides are at such odds, that there is going to be a voluntary resolution that's capable of being worked out, at least at this stage.
Goodbye.
But for now, the man with no job has no stake to his boys either.
Don't say goodbye, just say see you later.
Bob, Max, it's Dada. I will see you very soon. You're right here.
Just to give you a little perspective here, this week I spent about 10 hours inside of Charlie's home in Beverly Hills, sometimes with cameras, sometimes without. A few things struck me that I wanted to share with you. First of all, he has two nannies, one that's full-time during the week, one on the weekends, and they really care for those kids. I saw Bob and Max myself every single day I was there, usually playing with the nannies. Yes, Charlie's girlfriends, the goddesses, play with them, but they aren't the primary caregivers, not from what I saw. The house is actually very normal. In fact, it borders on boring at times. And no question about it, love him or hate him, Matt, you are watching him. Sheen just opened a Twitter account, and he already has more than 1 million followers. That's almost unheard of in the Twitter world in just a couple of days.
Yeah, pretty quick. Jeff Rawson out in Los Angeles. Jeff, as always, thank you very much. Trial attorney Ricky Kleeman is here along with Dr. Josh Weiner, a psychiatrist who treats both children and adults. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Ricky, let me start with you. Let's make it perfectly clear. Although Charlie Sheen has said some things on the air over the past couple of days that probably make people grimace, nothing he said on television that's not why these kids were taken out of his house.
Absolutely correct. And they wouldn't have been taken out of his house, no matter how bizarre he appeared to be on television, unless and until he actually threatened someone. And what happened here are two things, Matt. He threatened, allegedly, Brooke, and I mean badly threatened her, and he's had violent behavior toward her in the past, and he took the kids without permission.
Well, wait a second, though. Brooke Mueller goes into a court and says to a judge, he threatened me. What level of proof does she need before a judge will go in and take those children out of the house?
Well, once she went in just with this allegation, and it's some allegation. I mean, we're dealing with, I'm going to cut off your head and put it in a box. And she's had proof in the past. He pled guilty in the past back in Aspen.
So past actions come into play even if it's just an accusation now?
Well, it certainly enhances her credibility. And, of course, his interviews enhance her credibility.
Legally speaking, how do you determine that the children are better off with Brooke Mueller? Because she is facing issues of her own. She's admitted to addiction issues. So how do you tell where the stability is in either of these households?
Well, I think Mark Kaplan, who just spoke in your piece, really has the right idea. And what you have to do is you have to have an evaluation, be a guardian who's appointed, and there will ultimately probably be supervised visitation for Charlie Sheen.
Dr. Weiner, let me make it clear, you have not treated Charlie Sheen in the past. You are not currently treating him. But when you watch his actions and words, and you listen to his words over the last several days, what comes to mind?
Well, I'm concerned about how he's doing. I wonder whether, in fact, possibly, Charlie Sheen may, in fact, be using drugs still, although...
Why? Based on what? What gives you that clue?
Well, based on his past history of using drugs, also based on how he's conducting himself during his interviews. He's agitated, he's talking quickly, he's grandiose. Those would all be things that could be suggestive of continued drug use or other issues, potentially.
These twin boys are not yet 2 years old. What will court officials be looking for in terms of their behavior that will give them some signal that they could be negatively impacted by what's going on between their parents?
I think it's very difficult to evaluate that sort of thing in kids that are 2 years old, but primarily what they're going to be looking for is making sure that there's no regression in the kid's development. So if the children are able to do certain things, like they're potty trained, but all of a sudden they start losing the ability to be potty trained, or if they start
something's going on in their world.
Something's going on in their world. They're having sleep problems, behavior problems.
From what we understand, and Jeff Rawson has spent a lot of time in this house, they are clearly not being neglected. There is care there, depending on who's providing the care. A weird question for you, Ricky. Does the court care about resumes? In other words, one of the girlfriends is a former porn star. Does that mean anything in the eyes of the law?
Well, it probably doesn't mean anything in the eyes of the law, but it may mean something in a subtext as to what is in the best interest of the children. That is the only question for this judge. And what we do know is Charlie Sheen, according to his wife, had expressed no interest in seeing those children until January of this year.
According to his wife.
Correct.
And this is very much a he said, she said situation.
It is, but you will have some objective witnesses who know if he's been there or not.
In the short term, Dr. Weiner, what do you think the best solution here? Short term.
Short term, I think the best thing for kids, particularly kids of this age, is for them to be placed in a stable, safe, comfortable, predictable environment. Kids of this age need routine. Whatever adult can provide that for them, hopefully it's somebody in the family, maybe Brooke's mom, maybe one of Brooke, if she's able to get the appropriate treatment. That, I think, is what's in the best interest of the kids.
Josh Weiner and Ricky Kleeman, thanks to both of you. Appreciate it very much.